Hi, I'm Adam with AdvancedDimensions.com. In this short video, I'm going to show you how to relocate the 3D disto with the Leica software if for some reason it gets bumped, or if you really want to move it to a different location. This is going to be how you do it. The 3D disto, we had secured the location in a previous video and just moved the 3D disto to get it ready for the relocate command. You can see that the disto is set, and it's good to kind of take a picture of this. I always do mentally. Kind of see where it's set in accordance to these gray targets within the software. And now I'm going to go to the File drop-down, Application, Location, and Relocate. When we secure the location, it took pictures. First thing it's going to ask you is your tolerance. This does not mean have anything to do with the accuracy of the relocation. This only has to do with your specific accuracy when you are relocating. This is saying that if I'm off, for it not to give me an error, if I'm off up to an inch, I always make this down to 1/4 of an inch, and that way I have to be even more precise, which is what we want to be. And it's saying please measure the 3 to 5 points that you've already secured. When we secured the location before, it took a picture, which is great. With these pictures, you can highlight them, hit this eye, and it will zoom in so you can see right where you were. This is fine in the room right now. We can kind of see, all the different locations very easily. On other projects, sometimes you got to get creative. We've done a project where it was very similar all the way up a staircase, and we actually put different location tag numbers to give us an idea where we were. So I'm going to pick the first point, and I'm going to now, you can see the drawing has kind of shifted. This was in the corner before. That's nothing to be worried about or concerned about. It's really it'll get corrected when we take these secure points. So down at the bottom here too, you can see that it's in the secure point option. Oh, and now the other thing that happens too, when you move the disto, it runs a tilt check, and it's an automatic leveling sequence that it will go through to make sure that the disto is level and ready to start taking measurements. I found that leaving the disto on when you're moving the disto is the best way to do it. It might take a second for it to say, hey, the disto is moved, just like it did for us, but it's easier than turning it on and turning it off and reconnecting the software. So now that it's canceled my relocation, it's no big deal. I'm just going to go to the File drop-down, Application, Location, Relocate. Pick that same point that I had picked before after setting the tolerance to 1/4 of an inch. Picking that same point on the wall, I'm going to find it. And it is important to be accurate, because if we are off within a 1/4 of an inch, the disto will actually cancel the relocation and say, basically, you did a bad job, try again. And measure the next secure point. I'm going to pick a different one. One that usually the first 2 points that I pick when relocating, I like to pick points that are the easiest to target, meaning points that are at an angle, or ones that I had to kind of eyeball to get into the center. Those I save for last, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm going to measure the second point, and it says measure more, and I'm going to say yes. And what's cool about the relocation feature is the points that you've already taken, it actually just removes them from the list. If I were to relocate again, they'd be there. It's just for this particular function, they've been taken away. So now on the third point, what's really cool with the 3D disto is I don't have to find this point As soon as I click OK, you'll see the disto is going to start moving, or as soon as I click the checkbox. The disto will move automatically to that location and say, please adjust accordingly to make sure that it's accurate, but it'll say, is this where I'm supposed to be, basically? And we can adjust this slightly. It wants us to adjust this slightly. This isn't like something to be alarmed about if it's not. Technically, we're trying to triangulate, and we only had 2 points. So with those 2 points, it kind of guessed where this was. And now that we're telling it and defining where this point is, it's just making it all the more accurate. And I'm going to measure the last point, and the benefit of this is it's going to move the disto to that location. So after the first 2 points, it's very, very quick thing to move the disto. And now this is saying this is where I think it should be, which is actually pretty close. And I might move it, might zoom in just a little bit, move it down just a hair, and click OK. And now there's no more points to locate, so I'm going to click No. And now watch, the disto will jump on the screen. It says the disto has shift in position 13 inches, either X, Y, or Z, or sorry, X or Y, and then height just 3/32 of an inch. And it's just shifted down in this drawing. And now we're ready to continue scanning and keep everything in the same file. Thanks for watching.